Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are talking about common skincare mistakes that you're probably making and that I have personally made. So honestly, if you're watching this video and you're like, oh no, I've done a bunch of these, don't feel bad, because honestly, at one point or another, I think we've all done these things. So the first mistake is buying a skincare product based off of an influencer's recommendation rather than seeing if it fits your own needs. I get it. FOMO is real. I have fallen victim to this particular mistake so many times. This is about not doing your research about products and making sure that they really fit your needs. So for example, I love doing masks in the morning. I post on my Instagram story a lot of like whatever mask that I'm doing that particular day. It's just something that I really enjoy doing, not only for the benefit of my skin, but also as kind of like a little self-care routine in the morning. But while I enjoy taking my mornings really slow and kind of enjoying a face mask while I get some emails done and whatnot, I get that for someone with a really hectic, busy schedule, masks are just not the move. So if someone were to buy a face mask based off of my recommendation and they buy it and they're like, I will never use this because I don't have the time for this, or this is wrong for my skin type, then I would feel bad, because I get it that like I rant and rave about certain products and I'm like, this is the best and you need it in your life. But it's up to you to determine if that product is really right for you. So I do have some questions here that I want you to ask yourself when you're evaluating a product to see if it's right for you. So the first question is this product right for my skin issues? And this can be about skin type, this can be about, you know, how sensitive your skin is. So for example, like I struggle with dryness and kind of hyperpigmentation. If you are someone that has really oily skin, you probably shouldn't be using, you know, the super rich, thick creams that I rant and rave about in my videos. You can if you want to, if that's your personal style and you really like that and your skin agrees with it. But in general, you need to be comparing how your skin is compared to that influencer's skin. 2 is, can I naturally integrate this product into my routine? This goes back to my face mask example. So if you are someone who has a crazy hectic routine and you don't have any time for like leisurely sitting around doing a face mask, then don't buy face masks. 3, is it in my budget? Because skincare can get stupid expensive. And 4, do I already own something like this? Because redundancy in the skincare world is very common. So it's not, you know, unheard of to see an influencer who has like 20 different moisturizers because they get sent stuff in PR, they want to test new things, they want to buy new things. It's not unheard of to have, you know, a huge collection of one type of product. So I do think that moisturizers were kind of a bad example, because I do think that there are a multitude of different types of moisturizers. And also moisturizers can be really personalized to a number of different ingredients. Like for example, one moisturizer could have retinol in it, one moisturizer could have AHAs in it, one moisturizer could have, I don't know, vitamin C in it. There are a lot of different ingredients that can go into moisturizers. But in terms of like a hydrating toner, for example, there's only, you know, so much variation that a hydrating toner can have in terms of how it affects your skin. So that I think is one of the biggest mistakes that I think a lot of us make, and myself included. I get very easily convinced on social media to buy things because I'm a sucker for packaging, marketing, you know, social proof. All those things really contribute to me wanting to buy stuff. But if you do spend the time to really assess, is this right for me? Is it in my budget? Do I already own things like this? You're probably going to be in a little bit better shape in terms of your wallet and also your skincare collection not getting too huge and unmanageable. So the second mistake is owning too many of different products. You can definitely overwhelm your skin. I see some 10-step skincare routines that are crazy elaborate, and I personally have a more minimalistic, if you will, approach to skincare. I by no means have like a minimalist collection of skincare. Like, no, that's not it. But I do generally tend to put max of maybe 3 or even 4, if we're getting really crazy, products on my face at a time. Ultimately, if your 10-step skincare routine works for you, then keep doing what you're doing. But if you're a newbie to skincare, if you're totally a beginner and you're watching my videos because you're like, I don't know where to start, I'm here to tell you that you do not need to have a super crazy elaborate, you know, 20, 30-step routine just because you see people doing it online. I also want to add that if you're new to skincare and you are introducing a lot of different products into your routine, you are kind of running the risk of not knowing what causes a bad reaction if a bad reaction does occur. I know that there's a huge thrill in placing like a giant Sephora order and waiting for your products and getting that big box and getting all these like yummy skincare items. And then, you know, I get it. Like, you immediately want to start trying those products because you're like, wow, these look really great. But I really, really, really want to caution you against doing that, because when you introduce a bunch of new products into your routine and your skin reacts poorly to it, you have no way of knowing what actually caused the bad reaction. I recommend introducing only one thing at a time into your routine and giving it a couple weeks to really assess how it's affecting your skin. And honestly, that's why it takes me so long to review products. Like, you'll see me buy stuff and then, you know, like weeks or months later, I will talk about it on my channel. It's because testing skincare, it takes a really, really long time for me. Also, if you have too many products in the same category, you run the risk of having to use like an expensive $80 moisturizer on your arms and legs just because you're worried about it going bad, but you don't want to throw it out, but you also want to finish it, but you can't possibly be using it on your face because you have so many other moisturizers to go through. You see what I'm getting at. So yeah, trust me, been there, done that. Don't make my mistakes. Definitely try to pare down your routine in terms of how many products in a category you have. The third mistake that I see a lot of people making is using redundant products or using redundant ingredients. So for example, using a AHA toner and then using an exfoliating AHA serum and then using a moisturizer that has AHAs in it. Doubling up or even tripling the same ingredients can have negative effects on your skin, especially if it's an exfoliating type of ingredient. What I do recommend doing is checking the ingredients list of all of your products just to see if there are any particular actives that are repeated a lot. So for example, if your moisturizer contains ingredient X, like, I don't know, niacinamide, it may not be worth having a dedicated niacinamide serum in your routine that precedes the moisturizer that contains niacinamide. And that's why I love multitasking products, because they contain a number of really great ingredients. You don't necessarily have to put in any guesswork being like, well, I think my skin needs this and I think it needs this as well. You just have, you know, one really well formulated moisturizer that does everything for you. And then the last mistake that I think we're all guilty of, unfortunately, is not throwing out old skincare. I personally understand the pain of not wanting to throw out expensive skincare, or even skincare that you had just bought but just never got around to using. But truthfully, expiration dates exist for a reason. And although preservative systems are quite sophisticated now, products can still go bad. In general, jar packaging is the most notorious for going bad because, you know, contamination due to being exposed to the air, you dipping your fingers in there, dipping a spatula in there. There are a lot of things that can go wrong with the jar moisturizer or jar anything skincare product. So generally, those can stay good for up to 6 months if you're lucky. After that point, I don't think it's very safe. With any other of your skincare products though, use your common sense. Like, don't say, okay, at exactly the 12-month mark, I have to throw it out, or I'm not at the 12-month mark yet, I don't have to throw it out yet, even though it smells funny, even though the texture changed, even though the color changed. Use common sense. So like I said, if the color changes, if the texture changes, if the scent of it changes, if it separates and starts acting weird, those are generally signs that your product has gone bad and it definitely needs to be thrown out. So let me know if you're guilty of any of these. I'm really curious to know if I called any one of you out, because I definitely have done a lot of these things. In fact, I've done all of these things at one point or another. So with all that being said, thank you all so much for watching and spending this time with me. Have a beautiful week, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.